In this video, we'll take a look at the Moving Average Convergence Divergence, or MACD indicator. The first thing we'll do is we'll put that on the chart. So let's go ahead and click on Indicators, type in MACD, and it'll come up. Make sure you click MACD and not MACD Strategy. And you can see it opens up a separate window underneath, and there's a histogram and a couple of moving averages. The histogram measures the spread between the moving averages and whether or not the moving averages are rising and falling. So two moving averages, if you plotted them on the chart, and the parameters that are the standard parameters, they would look exactly the same. It's just basically a way of measuring momentum in its own little window. So how do we use this? Well, there are a multitude of ways that people use MACD. The first is the zero signal line cross here. So you can see there's a measurement from 1,000 to 1,000. Now this will adjust depending on, the range of the instrument. But in this case, in Bitcoin, it's 1,000 to negative 1,000. And every time it crosses the zero line, traders will either be buyers or sellers. That's probably the most straightforward and easiest way to trade MACD. Some people will use crossovers as a signal to get involved. You can see that the moving averages do crossover occasionally. So like a moving average crossover system. The problem you have with this, and it's going to be the same with an actual moving average crossover system, is that in a flat market, you get a lot of false signals. So like this market was going sideways and you got chopped up. You eventually did get some profits, but you took a couple of unnecessary losses in that meantime. So a way to filter that out is typically to aim for high or low crossovers. Ignore these ones, but try to find the ones that are much higher. And then some people will use it as divergence. So oscillators, and this is one of the family of indicators, an oscillator. Sometimes what you'll see is prices moving higher, but yet the indicators on the oscillator are not. And what that tells you is that perhaps the underlying momentum is waning. And that is a sign of internal weakness. People will sometimes use the moving averages. Sometimes they'll use the histogram. It really comes down to, how quickly you want it to happen. More often than not, though, you will see the histogram used. So I've got three assets. I've got Bitcoin, Canadian dollar, Japanese yen, currency pair, and US steel. Let's go ahead and walk through these and see if there are some, ways we could have used MACD to help us. The most obvious place on this chart is right around here. We had seen a moving average crossover at an extremely high level. And this, of course, was the highs of Bitcoin. So not a huge surprise to see that it failed at that level. It gotten way overextended. Up to about 14,000, and we have rolled over a bit since then. You can see there was another crossover here. There was a bullish crossover here, but notice how the market itself was relatively flat. So probably not the greatest signal. You can see here, same thing, a bullish crossover. We started swinging up, but the market was drifting a little bit lower. It was just kind of lackluster. Part of the filter can also be how wide the histogram is. You want to see a wider histogram. It makes more sense that it may give you, because it shows a greater diverging of the two moving averages, that there's more strength, if you will, in whichever direction. The zero line crossover right here would have been an excellent buying signal, for example, as well. But with Litecoin, let's take a look at the 4-hour chart, and you can see it works on smaller time frames as well. There's your moving average crossover, and we did in fact drop. It wasn't a huge move, but it did move. Moving average crossover right here led to the market picking up quite a bit until, probably right about here where you would have got a cross signal. So that, of course, set up quite nicely for a potential run. And as a result, it looks as if this has been steady along the way. In the next video, I'll take a look at understanding stop placements and signs of momentum loss.